Hi everyone, Justine here. Welcome to my channel. I am going to be doing weekly readings, intuitive readings, and I'm going to be doing this using my cards. I've used Angel Oracle decks, and basically I'm going to read for the week for the collective consciousness. So I have all of the cards spread out here. They are face down, so I actually don't know what they say, and I am going to just flip over and read as I will. I will put the cards up so you guys can have more of a visual instead of looking at me the whole time. Also, if it doesn't resonate, that's okay. But if it does, please leave me a comment and let me know. And hopefully this will be a good week. But let's begin. Okay, so the first lot here, I have strengths for the week. So let me go ahead and flip it over here. If you get nervous, focus on service. Oh, what a nice little rhyme here. Here we go, guys. Oh, there's a little bit of a glare. I'm sorry about that. But you can kind of see the artwork like right here. If you get nervous, focus on service. Okay, so obviously this is in the strength spot, but it actually came upside down. So what I'm actually feeling for this card is that we are our time would be best used this week if we focus on service. It's a little self-explanatory and it's a little literal. Sometimes the cards aren't, but our energy would be best serving other people. So if you're starting a business, for example, and maybe the focus is on money, or it has been lately, which is okay, guys. Money is okay to be a motivator. We all get motivated by different things, but obviously, you want to serve as well. So that actually could be lost in translation of some kind, which is why it's coming up, because it does feel like there's a block there. So if we concentrate on focusing on service this week, and it's not even necessarily to be starting a business, not everybody is starting a business. So it could be to get you out of a funk. It might be a good idea to focus on service this week. That is where your strengths are going to come from, because it feels like the outcome of doing that is going to be very vastly rewarding and very great. And it's going to put you more in a high vibe. The word high vibrational, I guess the phrase high vibrational is coming up, and that means that and again, this card came in upside down, low vibrational right now. So focusing more on service is going to lift you up vibrationally, emotionally, spiritually, all of that good stuff, which is what you need to get where you need to go. I also want to point something out, guys, for the new year. Today, when this is going to be published, it's actually going to be, I believe I'm publishing it tomorrow, which is the 5th, and it's for the week of the 5th, January 5th, 2020. Guys, it's okay if you didn't go head first into what you want to be doing. There's nothing wrong with you. If you didn't launch something on the 1st, or if you didn't start your diet and exercise regimen on the 1st, that's totally okay. What's coming through is that what your time and your energy would be most beneficial and most rewarding is obviously on service. So focus on that and really stop beating yourselves up. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, so the second one here is a weakness. This is an interesting one, okay? Bear with me. This one is emotional sensitivity. Okay, first off, as an empath, guys, being sensitive is not a bad thing. And if you don't resonate with empath, highly sensitive person, right? Whatever you resonate with. It is not a weakness, okay? This is not what this card is saying. This is actually saying that you're allowing it to bring you down in some type of way. So this is actually a message that I've been getting a lot lately. If you're an empath, there's a lot of codependency that's going to be coming up this week. There's a lot of letting people walk all over you, and it actually feels like it's been like that for a while. Like it could actually be leftover energy from the holidays, because guys, if you're empathic and maybe you are one of the only ones in your family or don't have a good relationship with your family, you have just been could be almost re-traumatized, right? Because you're being put in situations where you're not how do I put this, you weren't exactly prepared for, or just really overstimulated you, basically. So this week, that's going to be the weakness for you. So basically what the angels are saying are be more mindful of what actually drains your energy, where you feel most overstimulated, and just be more mindful of it, because I definitely see it being something that is not going to carry over to next month, or even maybe a little bit like the following week. We'll find out next week, right, when I do this card spread, if I feel any of that energy. But basically, it's saying everybody that's sensitive, you guys, we have more control than we actually think that we do. So that includes knowing what you're how to have boundaries. That includes knowing how to shield yourself, protect yourself. Where are you putting your actual physical body, right? Are you around people that are energy vampires and who are sucking the crap out of you, the energy out of you? You got to look at stuff like that. So this is definitely going to be going on this week, but the realization and the self-awareness is definitely coming around that. Like, you're going to be asking yourself, where in my life am I letting myself down? Where am I letting my energy get again sucked out by energy vampires or anything along those lines? And that is going to be something that is super, super beneficial going into, like I said, February. So we'll see how the rest of the month pans out, but it definitely feels like you're becoming more conscious or self-aware of that this week. Okay, so romantic, one of my favorite parts, right? Okay. So this is actually interesting, okay? Because the message that's coming through is it's not exactly black and white, okay? So basically we have deception, okay? So someone is wearing a false mask in this relationship. Okay, so first off, there is, when it comes to romances, there is, the first thing that's coming through, how I can describe this, is that it's perspective based. Now, does it mean that the actual person is deceiving you? Very possibly. There is, how do I explain this? The perceptions on both sides of this relationship, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship, guys. If you're single and if you've met somebody recently, it pertains to this as well. There may be basically two people that don't speak the same soul language. And if you guys, do you guys know what that means? How do I explain that? Basically, we just have a different, not necessarily love language, but yeah, kind of love language, or different ideas of how we perceive the world. So we're not really speaking the same language. You're not really speaking the same language. So there is a lot of perceived deception. That's why I say perceived, because on your end, it is definitely how you're looking at it through your lens definitely looks like a deception 100%. Is it really a deception? Possibly. But one thing that the angels are saying is that if it goes against your values in some type of way, it's important for you to recognize that. Even if other people don't see it as deception, that is okay. If it's against your values, you know who you are. And if you're sitting there saying, well, I don't really know who I am, then it's really time to not be dating and really listing out your values of what is super important to you in a person, in a partner, that kind of thing. So your feelings are completely valid, okay? Your perceptions are completely valid, but there may be a different perspective to see here, but it's also about accepting that you do speak different languages with this particular person, and you have to decide whether that is against your values or not. And when I say values, it's also what is against your personal truth. And if we don't know what our personal truth is, guys, that is really the foundation of how we build things, including a business, and especially including our love life, or even just living our lives, because it's a set of principles, the truth of who we are, our personal truth. Personal truth is different from universal truth, but we're talking about personal truth here. So it's, I'm not saying it's good, and I'm not saying it's bad, and I'm actually not saying it's positive, and I'm not saying it's negative. So it's actually pretty neutral, and that's the interesting feelings that I was trying to sort out there. Okay, a lot to say about that, huh? Okay, so we have personal. What should be focusing on this week in our personal life? Okay. Guys, we have the crystals card. So this actually isn't literal. So what I'm getting from this card is an energy healing of some kind. This is for our personal, and it's funny, I just mentioned personal truth. So I'm having a feeling a lot of us are not exactly rooted in our personal truths and know our foundation of who we are as a person and what our values are and our principles and all of that stuff. So this is, and guys, by the way, that could happen if you're empathic. Most people are that follow me. It's really, really easy for us to, right? An empath is somebody that really takes on other people's emotions, right? So we're human sponges, right? At the end of the day, if you think about it. So if you're a human sponge taking everybody's opinions and everybody's advice and everybody else's values, and we're not really focusing and going internal and focusing on the higher self and what we truly, as our soul, higher selves, soul, whatever it is, that is what we need to be looking at, and that's what it feels like this energy healing this week will be also focusing on, or being the catalyst or the facilitator of this healing. So personally, that's what we need to be looking for again, being the facilitator or the catalyst of figuring out our personal truth and really, I say discover, but it's almost like rediscovering, right? Because guys, basically ask yourself this question, who were you before all of this conditioning, before all of this absorbing, before all of this junk that was thrown at us? What's true to you, right? And really, maybe it just might be certain questions that you need to ask yourself, but I definitely feel like it's an energy healing. So if you're thinking of doing some type of energy healing, and I actually really do recommend crystals, I do. It is a healing modality that has worked great for me over the years, but if it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. Please follow your own intuition when it comes time to, find an energy healer or an energy modality that works for you. Okay, work-wise, here we go. Okay, so we have the speaker card. So this is interesting because I'm getting this week, so a lot of people were probably off for the holidays, right? So it looks like everybody's kind of getting back to work and getting back into the swing of things. But it's almost like I feel like this big bang. Like you're really going in, and there might be a big presentation happening this week, or there may be a spontaneous, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that's prepared, but it could be a spontaneous type of speaking out loud, having to present. It feels scary because it actually feels like it's something that is not exactly procedural. And what I mean by that is that it might be something that might be very emotional or on the spiritual spectrum of things, and that might be maybe I don't know, I can give like 1,000 examples, but basically like I don't know, talking about sexual harassment in the workplace because something just happened at your company, and it's like a kind of a dark subject, but obviously it pulls on the heartstrings or spiritual strings, obviously, right? Or something like that. Like, it doesn't feel like you're just going to be giving a presentation. It feels like there's more emotion and a spiritual aspect to it. So that is whether you know about it or not. I can feel the anxiety of those that really kind of know what I'm talking about, or know that they have to be in front of somebody this week. But the angels are pretty much saying that everything is going to go as well as you believe it to be. So what are they saying? They're saying work on your mindset, okay? We always are our worst critics. You're going to do better than you actually think that you are. And maybe some of us don't know about it because maybe we do best on a spontaneous type thing level in that kind of situation. I know I don't. But you're gonna kick ass, basically. That is what I'm feeling from the collective consciousness. Okay. All right. What do you need as a collective consciousness? Clarity, more clarity on this week. Okay. So we have mediumship that just came up here, and that's what clarity in the clarity spot. What I'm actually getting from that is that it's not just mediumship. And guys, I'm sure you are familiar with intuitive gifts and psychic abilities and things like that. And obviously mediumship is the ability to communicate with those that are in spirit worlds and have deceased. But it's actually more about clarity around more topics that are more deep and more emotional, and more spiritual in substance. So like an example could be, and this is coming up actually for me, so I'll use my personal examples, that I've been thinking about death a lot lately, and I've been just kind of, it's like at the forefront of my consciousness. So basically, it's just something that is just there, and it's really making me think and about my own psychic abilities and deeper subjects and things like that. So there is a clarity piece this week on figuring out on learning about and going deeper into a particular topic. Like, it's going to be something that's been on your mind for a while, and again, it's pretty deep, and maybe it's subconscious at the moment, but there's going to be some type of clarity or aha moment around that this week. Okay, guidance on. Okay, so this actually came up as one of the hits I've gotten for January in general, and it has come up again. So it's Earth Angel. So basically, guys, I'm feeling like if you're going to be going through a hard time, and it was actually a little conflicting because I didn't feel like January was going to be super hard for a lot of people in the collective consciousness. Like, it almost just feels like a time of healing and a time of rest. Again, we're in the winter months, and it definitely feels like that seasonally. Winter, which is like a time of recharge and all of that good stuff. So it doesn't seem like turmoil or something traumatic happening or horrific happening. But the guidance and the Earth Angel coming up in the guidance slot, it's saying that, yeah, for sure, like, if you're going to be going through a hard time, you bet your ass that you're going to have a human person with you. And what that means is, and guys, if you don't know what Earth Angels are, basically they are human beings. You can see them right in the flesh, and they could be a new friend, or a friend that steps up, or a mother that steps up, or a family member, or a complete stranger that will facilitate in your healing, and especially if you're going through something traumatic, that usually show up when you need extra help in that area. Doesn't mean they only show up when you feel disconnected from spirit, universe, angels, all of that stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean you're disconnected from that. It just means that you need extra help on the human plane, and that's totally okay. Accept it, and that's the issue, is that people don't accept it, or people, sometimes there's worry around whether if they go through a really hard time, is anybody going to be by them? So say like you're leaving your job and suing them or something from fraud behavior or something like that, and you're wondering if anybody would back you up. It reminds me of Jerry Maguire. Anybody ever see Jerry Maguire? And then Renee Zellweger stands up. Earth Angel, right there. Anyway, but that's a little bit of an example. But yeah, you will have somebody by your side if something. Again, don't mean to scare anybody, and it doesn't feel like, I know I do the reading for the collective consciousness, but generally everybody feels like a pretty good January. But if not, you'll have that facilitated support in human form. Okay, so what do you need healing on this week? Okay, guys, we have past life issue. Okay, so past life issue. What does this mean, guys? There is something that you're carrying, and it actually feels like it's, well, first of all, you're carrying it from a past life, right? It's pretty obvious. But you're carrying it for so long now. Like, you don't even want to start to look at it. And this week, you're going to have to look at it. Something's going to trigger you from this past life traumatic wound, we could call it, the traumatic wound. And a good example would definitely be, and especially this is for empaths, codependency, or the realization that you do and you have had trauma bonds that are emotional bonds, chemically bonded in your brain, where you are still attached and almost addicted to abusive relationships, or the person in the relationship that abused you, right? That is an example from my real life. And I'm just figuring it out this weekend, so it's not a shock to me that that's what I'm going to be focusing on healing this week. But something along those lines, because obviously it could be something that is really, really pretty deep, and something that is almost pretty obvious. Obvious, but also like a twist on the obvious. And what I mean by that is, like, you kind of knew you always had this issue that like you like tried to heal once and maybe it didn't work out, but maybe you're going to see a different perspective on it and see it from a different viewpoint. And then I really feel like that is the start of something changing, and real transformation, because you were missing something when it came to this. But that is definitely, while I'm talking, if something is popping up in your head, that's it. Go with that first. That's your intuition telling you what it actually is, if you feel like you're not conscious of it. Okay, but really a pretty good week. Like, the public speaking thing kind of seems a little scary too. Again, if you know about it, and it's okay. You're gonna get through it. Again, the angels are saying that you're doing way better than you think that you're doing. Really focus on that energy healing for this week as well. Yeah, so it looks like a pretty good week for sure. So that was the first weekly reading. I'm going to continue to do it and post the videos every Sunday. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. And any questions, comments, or let me know if it resonates with you. Put it down in the comments. And thank you guys for watching. Light and love always. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.